Wow, morning YouTube. This looks like a little job. Let's see where this is going. Here's just some pictures I took when I went down to Wales to pick it up, but that was the condition of it as it was kind of dragged out of the field. You know, what the farmers tend to do is put a fuel bowser in a good position, you know, so that when they're ploughing fields they don't have to keep going backwards and forwards to the farm all the time to refuel the tractors. But that's what it looked like. It was super shabby, but I thought it was treasure. Okay, so a little bit of reconditioning on my part, but let's get it out, walk you around it, tell you a little bit more about what I'm going to use it for and what it does. Okay, hope you can appreciate my excitement. Like I say, I always thought it was treasure. It took me 3 days to tidy it up, just give it a good rub down, had a couple of coats of absolutely over the moon I was with it. Capacity is 1,100 litres. It's a purpose-built steel bowser. No leaks or anything in it. There's a couple of little dents, but you know, it's had a pretty hard life. But as a family, you know, it costs about £1,500, believe it or not, to fill this up. So maybe $2,300–400. So a lot of money. Our budget for fuel every month is about £200. So $300 is what we spend on fuel every month between me and my wife. And this last 3 months we've been trying to save a bit of money, so we've managed to save a couple of £100 a month. So we've got £600 worth of diesel that we can get put in this. I've approached a couple of friends as well, and they're up for a bit of fuel storage. It's really weird, odd legislation in the UK. Because this is a purpose-built fuel storage unit, I'm allowed to have it at the house. What I'm not allowed to do is I'm not allowed to tow it behind my vehicle once it's full. I need a special sort of hazardous goods driving permit, which I don't have on my standard driving licence. But that is my precaution for industrial action from the tanker drivers. I think it's a good one. It costs, like I say, it cost me £140. I probably spent about £75, about $110 tidying it up. The other thing that's happening in the UK is the reason I'm cleaning this IBC 1,000 litre container out today is because a hosepipe ban comes into effect tomorrow. And if you get caught using a hosepipe anywhere in the Greater London area, probably affects about 7 million people. There's £1,000, $1,500 fine. At the very least, I think I'll be using it to water the garden and the plants. At very worst, I'll process it and it will be emergency drinking water for us. So literally just spring in the UK, just come out of what I thought was quite a wet winter. Apparently reservoirs up and down the country are already empty. Water shortages are on the cards for the spring stroke summer, and like I say, you know, the hosepipe ban comes into effect tomorrow, so that gives you some indication of how the infrastructure is struggling in the UK. The bowser is our emergency fuel store, and that's us fixed. If there is a national dispute with the tanker drivers, there's enough fuel there for for us for the next 3 months. That gets my wife backwards and forwards. Is prepping in general. You know, I've been doing a bit with the TV production companies, and they were here yesterday finishing off their filming to send off to National Geographic. They're going to have a look at all the kind of rushes and all the people that they've selected, and they'll be the ones that decide on the casting, you know, who they're actually going to use in the programme. I'm quite keen to be involved in it, but we'll see how that one pans out. Had to explain prepping to somebody, and I said, I came up with this analogy that in the UK we're fanatical about weather. You know, we have 5 long-term weather forecasts on national TV a day, you know, and if you were to listen to local radio, you would get news, travel and weather every hour. Now, the weather forecast would be 5-day forecasts, and in Middle England, in the Midlands, yesterday they were forecasting a real cold snap, and I spoke to my kid brother this morning, and sure enough he woke up to a good covering of snow that had come in during the night. All the roads had to be gritted, you know, so we don't have thousands of road traffic accidents. And a long-term weather forecast is something that the British government and the Met Office here invest tens of millions of pounds in. You know, that's how important it is. So, why is long-term weather forecasting of worth? We don't care whether today is 2 degrees warmer than tomorrow, or we're going to have a little shower in the afternoon. We don't really care about that. Forecasting is to predict extremes, you know, so we want to know there's an Arctic cold front coming in, we want to know that there's going to be a heat wave, and so the elderly and the young potentially are at risk. And what it does is it gives people time to prepare for extremes of weather, you know. And I don't think prepping in general is that different, you know. So what I've done is I've not listened to the weather forecast, but I've listened to our local and central government politicians. I've listened to news on local radio, I've read the papers, watched the TV, and I get a vibe for events that are coming our way. Now, the fuel bowser that I've just showed you is my preparation for a national tanker drivers dispute where we don't have fuel. And the IBC container that I'm going to use for grey water, for water in the garden and for an emergency water supply for me and my family, 1,000 litres, that's me preparing for the fact that there's a hosepipe ban coming in operation tomorrow, and, you know, and that there will be £1,000, $1,500 fine if you get caught using a hosepipe in Greater London, you know, which is I think the population is 7.2 million. So that's me preparing, that's me looking at the long-term forecast and actually doing something about it. If you watch this information on the TV and the radio, if you get all this news and you do nothing about it, I don't think you've got anyone else to blame, really. If you've got the resources, if you've got an ounce of common sense and there is something you can put in place and you choose not to, I don't understand how that could be somebody else's problem to sort out for you. You know, it's just good old-fashioned common sense. Like I say, if you know the weather's going to be bad, take an umbrella, wear a coat, you know. I think the water and the fuel situation in the UK is the same. So at very least, I've bought it a little bit cheaper. You know, to fill up my fuel bowser, because I'm buying 1,000 litres, 1,100 litres of fuel, I'm buying it at 5p a litre cheaper than I would if I went to the garage. The other thing is I haven't got to queue up at the garage. You know, I phone the oil company up, they send a tanker to the house and fill it up here. So I haven't even got to drive to the petrol station. So as far as I'm concerned, all good, nothing bad. If you're in the UK and you put any provisions in place, I'd love to hear what you're up to. As always, YouTube, any comments, love to hear them. Back soon.